Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare
Om Vishnupad Panamansa Pariprajakacharya Ashtottara Sadashri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you everyone for being here for Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Monday, October 24th in New York, and we are in the third canto, 9th chapter.
Are we 15 or 16?
I have 16 as our next verse. I think we went over 15.
That's what I thought too.
So starting on text number 16, I was just re-noticing that the third canto's subtitle is The Status Quo. I had forgotten about that. So glad you could be with us tonight, Maharaj, or this morning, in your morning from Govardhan, and we're looking forward to hearing everyone's comments and questions, and if someone would like to lead tonight's closing kirtan, please do. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kendra Prabhu, and thank you to Meena, and thank you to all. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yo va aham shagiri shastra vibhu swayam cha stit yudbhava pralaya hetava atma moolam pitva tripad vivridha eka uru prarohas tasmai namo bhagavate bhuvana drumaya. Your Lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary systems. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in three trunks, as me, Shiva, and you, the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation. Purport: the cosmic manifestation is grossly divided into three worlds: the upper, lower, and middle planetary systems. And then it broadens into the cosmos of 14 planetary systems, with the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme root. Material nature, which appears to be the cause of the cosmic manifestation, is only the agency or energy of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Don't sit on the marble, please. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate satrachara. Only under the superintendence of the Supreme Lord does material nature appear to be the cause of all creation, maintenance, and dissolution. The Lord expands himself into three, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, for maintenance, creation, and destruction, respectively. Of the three principal agents controlling the three modes of material nature, Vishnu is the Almighty. Even though he is within material nature for the purpose of maintenance, he is not controlled by the laws of material nature. The other two, Brahma and Shiva, although almost as greatly powerful as Vishnu, are within the control of the material energy of the Supreme Lord. The conception of many gods controlling the many departments of material nature is ill conceived of by the foolish pantheist. God is one without a second, and he is the primal cause of all causes. As there are many departmental heads of governmental affairs, so there are many heads of management in the universal affairs. Om Ajnana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamanan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Kuruna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kam Shana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Mancha Golpitarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yo va aham chagirishascha vibhu swayam cha Stityudbhava pralaya hetava atma mulam Vidva tripad vivrita eka uru prarohas Tasmai namo bhagavate uvana jumaya. I offer my obeisances unto the tree of the world, the planetary systems. The analogy is given that, Lord, the personality of Godhead is like a tree, or he's the universal form of everything. The Lord is identified here with the material nature because he's everything. So the planetary systems, first seen as 3 and more closely as 14, are identical with the Lord idam hi vishvam Bhagavan ivetara. So that tree has its root, Atma Moolam. The Lord can be taken to be the root, or the material nature itself can be taken to be the root. And there are three great branches: Girisha, Cha, Vibhu Swayam, Cha, Aham Cha, Girisha, Vibhu Swayam. Myself, Brahma, and Girish, Lord Shiva, yes, and Vibhu Swayam, and the personality of Godhead himself. By the words Vibhu Swayam, the personality of Godhead is distinguished from the other two. And Sthiti Udbhava Pralaya Hetava Atma Moolam. The Lord himself is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction. He carries on these activities through three features: Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. But finally, he's the cause of everything. Maya Jakshena Prakriti Suyate Saratram. Everything is going on under the direction of the personality of Godhead. All right, any comments or questions so far?
We have something in the chat from Athena.
Report suggests that Shiva is or can be also under the control of material nature. Akamaya. Anyway.
AKA.
Okay. Oh, AKA, also known as Maya. All right. So the Shiva is also under the control of material nature, within the control of the material energy of the Lord. I thought no jivas can take the post of Shiva, and only jivas can be deluded. Thus Brahma can, as that is the highest post a jiva can take. So how can Shiva fall under the influence of material nature? One common analogy given by devotees is that Vishnu is milk and Shiva is yogurt or curd, not exactly milk. It is Vishnu with a tinge of material nature mixed in. But my understanding is that Shiva is not influenced by material nature. He, in essence, has the duty to be in charge of it. Well, first of all, everyone's under the control of the personality of Godhead. We may be jiva, we may be something else, we may be material nature, we may be manifestations of the internal energy, but everything is finally under the control of Krishna. Ekla Ishvara Krishna, our Sabritya. There's only one supreme controller, Krishna, and everyone else is a servant dancing according to the way he pulls the strings. So Shiva is also under the control of the Lord. And sometimes we see that, or we do see, that Shiva is slightly influenced by material nature. There was an experiment conducted by Bhrigu Muni under the direction of, or at the request of, some great sages. The sages wanted to know which deity is supreme, Vishnu, Maheshwara, or Lord Brahma. So a test was devised. The Bhrigu Muni met Lord Brahma and insulted him mentally by not offering him respects. Bhrigu Muni is the son of Lord Brahma, and so he should have offered respects to Brahma, but he didn't. And Brahma therefore became angry at him. But by his great intelligence, Lord Brahma quelled his anger. Then Bhrigu Muni went to Lord Shiva and insulted him verbally. Lord Shiva is Bhrigu Muni's brother, so Lord Shiva rose to greet him and embrace him, but Bhrigu Muni said, "Don't touch me, you're contaminated, you're wearing these skulls, you're covered by ashes from the crematorium, you're contaminated by all these things." So in this way, insulted Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva became so angry that with his trident he was prepared to kill Bhrigu Muni. But Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, calmed him down, and so the Muni was spared. Then Bhrigu Muni went to Lord Vishnu and insulted him corporally. He entered the place of Lord Vishnu, where Lord Vishnu was lying down, and kicked him in the chest. And Lord Vishnu had been resting. He said, "My dear Brahmin, please forgive me. I was resting, so I didn't greet you properly. And now you must have hurt your foot because your foot is very soft and my chest is very hard. So please forgive me." In this way, Bhrigu Muni and the sages concluded that Lord Brahma is influenced by passion, Lord Shiva by ignorance, but Lord Vishnu is situated in pure goodness. So in this way, Lord Shiva also is influenced somewhat by material nature. After all, you mentioned Maya. Maya is Parvati, the wife of Lord Shiva. He's married to Maya. So he has to associate with the material energy, at least to some extent. He's so powerful that generally he's unaffected by material nature. But some effect is there. Some effect is there. Lord Vishnu, as you've quoted or cited the example, the analogy, that Lord Shiva is like yogurt and Lord Vishnu like milk. When the yogurt means milk transformed by touch with something sour. So Lord Vishnu himself remains unaffected by nature, material nature. He just glances over material nature and remains unaffected. But Lord Shiva's in touch with material nature, and so he's somewhat transformed or somewhat affected. I hope that clears things up.
Thank you, Maharaj. May I ask, that story with Bhrigu Muni, I thought was also a Leela in one sense constructed by the Lord himself to highlight that Krishna is the supreme, but just like with the story of Lord Brahma being disillusioned with the cowherd boys and steals all of them, even though Brahma is a pure devotee, that story or that Leela was, it's like Krishna did put Brahma under I'm sorry. I guess that's right. I was actually highlighting two different things. Lord Shiva is a pure devotee, but also can be, you're right, under illusion, even if that Leela is to highlight a certain, point in that Krishna is supreme. So thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Tulsi Priya.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. You're talking about Lord Shiva. Reminded me of another Leela, which I really relish a lot, and that's the Mohini Morti pastime when Lord Shiva wanted to see Mohini Murti, and then he lost control of himself. And I was just wondering if, because I know it said, I think within that pastime, it said that Lord Shiva his mind can't be disturbed even by Parvati, who is, the personality of the material energy, but he was disturbed by Mohini Murti. And so I was wondering if that disturbance, it's kind of a subtle point I'm trying to glean from it. He can't be disturbed by Parvati, but he was disturbed by Mohini Murti, but that Mohini Murti is Krishna. So it seems like only Krishna can affect him. But is it the idea that because Krishna took the form of a beautiful woman and Lord Shiva was incited to lust by that form, that's sort of a materialistic or material influence, that the idea of enjoying the form of a woman or something is material, so therefore he was influenced by the material energy?
Lord Vishnu influenced him spiritually, one can say, or by his pastime energy.
Mm-hmm.
The Mohini Murti, although taking the form of a woman of the material world, is Vishnu. But so spiritual. But still we understand from various texts that Lord Shiva is in touch with material nature. He's not generally carried away by material nature. Therefore, he's called Dhira, very sober. Mahadev, the greatest among the demigods, and so on. He's exalted. But still, there's some touch.
Mm-hmm.
There's some touch of material nature. He's not. I'm thinking of householders. There are householders who get just dragged away by their wives, carried away, subjugated to their wives. And then there are householders who are self-controlled and dutiful and Krishna conscious. So Lord Shiva, although he's in touch with material nature or married to material nature, he doesn't get carried away by material nature. He remains sober. He remains Krishna conscious. But there's still some touch.
Could we say then, with the regard to Mohini Murti, that Lord Shiva's lust was purely spiritual, or was there a tinge of material desire there?
The whole thing is a display of Krishna's pastime energy. You want to see something? All right, we'll show you something. So it's not the ordinary lust of this material world, but it's bewilderment by the will of Vishnu.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Damodar Vilas. As per my understanding, Lord Shambhu is expansion of Mahavishnu. When he comes in contact with Maya, he's called Shankar. Now we're getting to quite technical Shiva Tattva. Everyone is an expansion of Mahavishnu, Shambhu, Shankar. They're all expanded from the Mahavishnu. I don't have much to say about this. Anyone have something to contribute about that? Tulsi Priya, did you have something about that, or is that just a hand still? Okay. Yeah, I don't have much to offer about that. The Shambhu carries the glance of Lord Vishnu, and he has so many names: Shiva, Shankar, Shambhu, Rudra, many. And if we get into deep study of Shiva Tattva, we could start distinguishing this form from that form from another form. I just haven't gone much into that. Saraswati says, we also know how unaffected Lord Shiva was during the time when Daksha, father of Parvati, Sati, insulted Shiva at the sacrificial ceremony. Sati couldn't tolerate the insult, and similarly, all others acted in anger or violence, except Shiva, who remained unaffected by Maya. Yes, good point. Yes, Tina.
Hi, Gushmarsh. I'm sorry to be so exacting, but maybe this is kind of how my mind works. But just to make sure I fully understand, with Damodar Vilas, when he had said, when he comes in contact with Maya, I think that's sorry to be kind of like pick apart words, but I guess I have a problem. Not a problem with that. It's just when I think come in contact, that means I guess under the like complete illusion or I'm sorry, I'm not. For example, Krishna, like Vishnu, even in this part, Vishnu comes in as kind of that guna avatar. Krishna comes in as guna avatar, like into this material world, but he's not in contact with it, right? Like or you could say he is, but he's not influenced by it. He is in contact with, I guess, Maya, the material nature, because he's literally operating within it. And Krishna himself also comes in while he's not affected by it. He is in contact with it as he's performing his leelas. So will we say that actually, I guess, as you mentioned, every entity is under the influence of Krishna, I guess. But I'm sorry, actually, do you say he's actually, all of the beings are actually under the influence of no, it's not all material energy because you can be under Yoga Maya. So, but under the influence of Krishna, which is still separate from, I'm sorry, you're hearing my verbal processing. Maya, right, which could be separated into Maya and Yoga Maya.
Tina, because you're going in a few different directions, and I need time to process what you're saying. So if you could slow down a little, that would help.
Sure. Thank you, Marj. In one sense, I guess I'm arguing that when you come in contact with Maya, see, even in this purport, Vishnu comes in. Vishnu is guna avatar, and he's in contact in one sense, as in he's operating within the material world and energy. And now Krishna also, to perform his leelas in the material world, come in contact too with the material energy. But is it just better to say that, Krishna is never under the influence, but merely coming in contact, even Krishna comes in contact with Maya. And while the example that you mentioned is that all living entities are under the influence of Maya, whether it be Maha Maya or Yoga Maya, I guess with the analogy of Shiva is kind of milk, but just have a tinge of sourness, it makes me kind of think that Shiva's makeup is that he is part like material nature or Maya, but do we not even think of it like that in that way?
First, let's deal with Vishnu. Even if he's in touch with pure goodness, he is the form of pure goodness. Pure goodness is not actually found in the material world, only in the spiritual world. Vishnu himself is the form of absolute goodness. And even if he comes in touch with the goodness of this material world, it's nothing but himself. From our point of view, goodness, passion, ignorance are material. But from Lord Vishnu's position, everything is spiritual. Sarva kalavinam Brahma. So he's not affected. You're right, he wouldn't even be affected by ignorance or passion. But he's aloof from all of these things at the same time that he oversees the activities of goodness or the activities of maintaining the material creation. So it's a distant sort of touch. And when Krishna comes to this material world, he's not really quite in it, and probably gives the example of an embassy. The Indian embassy in Washington is in the United States, but at the same time, it's really still in India. Indian everything prevails. If you go to the American embassy in some foreign country, there are American soldiers there, American police seeing to security. There's American Coca-Cola. There's American authority. So everything's running by American standards. No one from India is dictating what has to go on within the embassy. Even the embassy will typically be spying on the host country and doing so many things. But it's sovereign. That's the point. It's within the country, but it's outside. So even when Krishna comes to this material world, he brings the whole spiritual world with him. So he's not affected by material nature or even in contact with material nature, although he seems to be. So that's Lord Vishnu's position, Krishna's position. He's always in the transcendental situation. As for Lord Shiva, his connection with material nature is more intimate. It's said that the entire cosmic manifestation is generated by the direct contact of Lord Shiva with Devi, or the material nature. So his connection is quite intimate, whereas Lord Vishnu's connection is distant or only apparent. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Gurudas, overheard at a Sunday feast, the doubting Thomas says, "You say the Lord is the source of all, and he's supremely merciful, and the supreme abode of love for all beings. Accepting all that is true, he's also the master of all bewildering energy. So when the living entity strays and falls from the material world, how is it that the all-merciful Lord sets up such an obstacle course, so to speak, for the living entity to go back again? 8,400,000 species, and in the human form of life, Krishna demands surrender unto him. One is handicapped with a poor fund of knowledge and is susceptible to being cheated as a karma yogi, a jnani, or a mystic yogi. So does God really care that all living entities are saved, or does he share his mercy only to his devotees? The Lord reciprocates, yeyatam mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamya. To the extent that you want to be Krishna conscious, Krishna will help. Most living entities never even stray from Krishna consciousness. But the small number who insist on being independent are given facility reluctantly by the Lord. All right, be independent. and the have all these species in which whatever you desire you can have, and yes, go through the obstacle course because you want it, because of your own obstinacy. You have to stay in the material world. But mame prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite, the opportunity is always there to come back. Don't blame it on Krishna. Whatever. If Krishna forces you to stay in the spiritual world, you'd say he's not giving you any free will. If he lets you come to the material world, you'll say he's being cruel. Either way, you want to stick it on Krishna. He's responsible for your problems. Grow up. Take responsibility for your own direction.
But that's so hard.
It's hard or it's easy. It's hard because you've made it hard. But if you take up the process, maybe a little hard, you've become diseased by your own neglect or your own foolishness. So now to become cured takes a little work, but do it. If you're serious, to the extent that you're not serious, to the extent that you still want to maintain lordship of your own, it will be hard. To the extent that you're willing to surrender, it becomes more and more easy. This has been discussed by the acharyas at length. They've all concluded that Krishna is not to blame for the sufferings of the conditioned souls. He's, what is that? Udasina vidasina. He's neutral. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Hope that's all right.
Much more than my question deserves, Maharaj.
Well, Panchatattva says, sign at the door of the material world, enter at your own risk. Yes. Saraswati, can any head of material world offer a presidential pardon and a right to the abode in the spiritual world? No, that's reserved for Vishnu. That's reserved for Vishnu. Tulsi Priya, we're really inclined to blame anyone but ourselves, yet the whole manifestation exists just because we want to enjoy separately from Krishna. Yes. Let us continue. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, the impersonalist does not believe in the personal management of things as they are. But in this verse, it is clearly explained that everything's personal and nothing is impersonal. We've already discussed this point in the introduction, and it's confirmed here in this verse. The tree of the material manifestation is described in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as an Ashwata tree whose root is upward. We have actual experience of such a tree when we see the shadow of a tree on the bank of a reservoir of water. The reflection of the tree on the water appears to hang down from its upward roots. The tree of creation described here is only a shadow of the reality, which is Param Brahma, Vishnu. In the internal potential manifestation of the Vaikuntha Lokas, this potential Srila Prabhupada uses in a different way. We think of potential as being not actual, but possible, yet to be seen. but Srila Prabhupada uses it as essentially an adjective from potency. So the internal potential manifestation of the Vaikuntha Lokas are the Vaikuntha Lokas as manifested by the internal potency. So in the internal potential manifestation of the Vaikuntha Lokas, the actual tree exists. And the tree reflected in the material nature is only the shadow of this actual tree. The impersonalist theory that Brahman is void of all variegatedness is false, because the shadow tree described in Bhagavad Gita cannot exist without being the reflection of a real tree. The real tree is situated in the eternal existence of spiritual nature, full of transcendental varieties. And Lord Vishnu is the root of that tree also. The root is the same, the Lord, both for the real tree and the false. But the false tree is only the perverted reflection of the real tree. The Lord, being the real tree, is here offered obeisances by Brahma on his own behalf and also on behalf of Lord Shiva. So the Urdhvamula Madha Shakam, finally there's the material manifestation is a reflection of the spiritual. As we see a tree reflected in the water upside down, so the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. The Mayavadis somehow have the notion that from the impersonal Brahma, the material world is manifest or appears to be manifest due to illusion. But the reality has to be there, even if we say that we're seeing this because of illusion. Illusion has to have a source. Material nature has a source. Illusion has a source. Everything has a source. And that source is Krishna, the personality of Godhead. So the Lord is the root of the material nature and the root of the spiritual world. I think we've seen that picture in the Bhagavad Gita of the tree upward and downward. The real tree is manifest with the root at the bottom, the false tree with the root at the top. But either way, the same root is there, personality of Godhead. Tulsi Priya says this is reminiscent of the idea that the cloud obscures the sun from our vision. The same sun is the cause of the cloud. Yes, Kendra.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. As you were reading all about this tree, I was thinking how difficult it is to see the tree as a reflection at the same time as you see it as something to enjoy. It's like the duck rabbit example. You see it one way or you see it the other way. And maybe this is me revealing my childhood proclivity to climb in trees, but you see it one way, you see this material world tree, and it looks like something, oh, the leaves and the branches look so attractive, let me climb up into it. But then the transcendentalist who understands Krishna's description and the viewpoint of the sages thinks, oh, let me get down out of this tree.
Sangha shastrena dritena chitva, let me cut myself off from this tree. Yes, and that's why, as Gurudas said, it's hard. It's hard to be Krishna conscious because we want to be in Maya at the same time. or we want to have this position. It's not that we're Krishna conscious, but we're not in Maya either. We're in this sort of special zone where neither illusion nor surrender applies. But that zone is the illusory itself. That zone doesn't exist. Either we're in the zone of surrender or we're in the zone of illusion, not this sort of third zone. I think of scholars too, where scholars somehow or other, you scholars of religion particularly, they're just observing. They're observing what people do in terms of devotion to God, but they don't do it. So they think that they're somehow or other in a privileged position where they're not committed to anything. But they're committed to this, to scholarship, of course, and sort of committed to a position where we don't surrender. We don't surrender because we're scholars. We don't surrender because we're scholars. We don't surrender because we understand that Vishnu is just a manifestation of some impersonal truth with which I'm identical myself. Or we don't surrender because we're not interested, we're just having a great time here, or whatever other reason, we don't surrender. But especially this idea of a neutral place where I don't have to be Krishna conscious, but I won't be in Maya, is Maya. Anything else?
Maharaj?
Yes.
I was
Yes.
just- I was just thinking too that sometimes when we're asleep, we will hear something in the world, the waking world, like a siren or something, and we'll incorporate that into our dream. So there's the element of reality enters into our sleep, but we're still actually asleep.
Yeah. Well, we hope that if some element of Krishna consciousness enter into our dreams, then we'll wake up and surrender to Krishna. All right. With only a few minutes left, let's see if there's something I want to.
There's a comment from Saraswati.
Oh. There's a saying that it's not what you know, but who you know that actually counts. So if one does not know so much, but knows of and wants to serve devotees, can this save us? Yes, even if we don't know anything, if we know the devotees, know means we know them, we want to serve them, then that's still better. Mad bhakta puja priyadika. Serving the devotees is better than serving the Lord. Let's see. Argument from Praveen. Krishna has given terms and conditions if we want to go back to him. But if he really wants me back, I'm ready to go, but it's just too much of regulations to be within his terms. Why make it difficult for those who are willing to come back? Because you don't really, the spiritual world is the world of service. The world of health is the world of service. And you want to hold on to your disease and enter the healthy zone at the same time. You want to enter the world of service, but you don't want to serve. That's not going to work. I remember one of our godbrothers, prominent godbrother at the time, Ray Ramadas, had left Krishna consciousness. And then he showed up again, like after a year, and wanted to do some service. And Prabhupada wrote him a very strong letter, very a letter much deserving of study, where Prabhupada says, you're welcome, but not with your independence. If you want to join, you're welcome, but then you have to follow all the rules and regulations. You have to follow all the rules and regulations. Otherwise, it won't be good for you or for anyone. So it's not that Srila Prabhupada didn't want him, but Prabhupada knew that he wanted to come back, but not actually come back. He wanted to be back without being. So, but in the spiritual world, there's no scope for that. There's no zone for people who they're kind of willing to be Krishna conscious, but not really. It's cheating. Either you want to serve Krishna or you're pretentious. You make a show of wanting to serve Krishna. I'm willing to serve Krishna, but not on his terms, on my own terms. That means you're not willing. That means you're not willing. Imagine if you wanted to become an American citizen, but I don't want to have to sign an oath. I don't want to have to certify that I'll be compliant with the laws of America. I still want to maintain whatever I've got. You surrender. You agree. I want to enter the school, but on my own terms. I don't like homework, or I don't want to have to attend all the classes, or I don't want this, or I don't want that. No. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Why do you make it so hard to get into Harvard? Well, because it's Harvard. If you want to be admitted, then you have to meet the standards. You can't just say, well, here's how I'd like to do it. Here are the terms and conditions. Like you go to a website, yes, I agree to the terms and conditions. Not that you can click no, I don't agree, and still participate. You have to agree. You have to agree. So why blame it on Krishna? Why is he making it difficult? He makes it easy, but you don't want to do it. That's all. How hard is it to click the box and say, yes, I agree to the terms and conditions? But if you don't want to do it, why do you make it hard? Why that extra box to click? If you want everyone to, because we have certain rules here. And it's easy. Everyone clicks it. But if you don't want to, okay, your choice. The letter to Ray Rama must have been hard on both he and Srila Prabhupada because of their initial favorable relationship. It's a very interesting letter. It's a very interesting letter. I won't. It's worthy of study. Worthy of study. Can't say how they felt about it, but much worthy of study. Shall we have kirtan and end up?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripad Jagacharya Ashtottara Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kunikiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Gangamai Ki Jai, Jamunamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the devotees.
Hare
Gaur
Krishna.
Premanande. Hare.
Whoa.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Happy Govardhan Puja.
Ah,
Thank you, Marge.
thank you, Dr. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, Gurudas, Haridas, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jayādvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hare Hare Bo.
Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.